Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradeTolife.com, and welcome to this quote of the week video, which will touch base on the topic of utilizing a friend's voice to imaginatively hear a friend's voice to confirm, to imply that you have achieved your goal. This is one of my personal subjective favorite ways to bring myself in the state of the wish fulfilled. But if it doesn't resonate with you, if you're more like a visual person or you utilize other methods more to align yourself with the state of the wish fulfilled, or you just like to intend it to just decide it, that's all totally fine. But in this video I want to show you the way that if you're a good hearer, if you like to hear scenes, imaginative scenes that imply certain things to you, then this is the right video for you. So let's just dive right in. There is a quote from Neville Goddard that I would like to read to you and then explain it and then make it practical so that you can start to apply it to manifest your desires with that quote-unquote method. So Neville Goddard said this: "Tonight, learn to fine-tune your imagination. Knowing the voice of your friend, tune him in. Determine the words you want him to say and listen carefully. Tune him in until his words are fine and clear. Then believe you heard him. Think it really happened, and if you will, your desire will come to pass. When I cannot say, for every imaginal act is like an act, and no two acts, unless they're from the same species, have the same interval of time for hatching. The little bird comes out in 3 weeks, a sheep in 5 months, a horse in 12 months, and a human in 9 months. Your imaginal act has its own appointed hour to ripen and flower, and if it seems long, then wait, for it is sure and will not be late." Okay, sounds really amazing. It's a beautiful quote, and there is a deep message in it that can help you to manifest. And sometimes we think that it needs to be this complicated long process, that we need 10,000 of techniques and apply this and be extremely vivid and do everything perfect, and we overcomplicate it and we delay it and we doubt. Pause, cut, make it easy, make it simple, right? If you have achieved your desire, if you have achieved your goal, if this is now present in your life, who would be happy for you? But one of the people that would definitely be happy for you is one of your friends, maybe your best friend. And maybe if you don't have a best friend or someone that is coming to your mind, that's fine. Then use a family member, use someone else, use a brother, a sibling, your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whomever it is. Right? But for this example right now, let's use a friend, because if I think of my friends and my best friend, if I achieved something, we speak almost every day or like really often in the week. And I know that the friend would be really happy for me, would say, "Wow, how have you done this? This is amazing. Tell me more about it. That's cool." Or he would just be making an excited face, or "No way." Anything like that. But he would be excited for me and happy for me. And we can use that, not using, but mostly we can utilize it to our advantage, because we can imagine that this exact friend is congratulating us now to our success, to imply that it is done. Right? It's like this congratulation technique, basically, which I have also a detailed video on, which I will link above right now, the congratulation technique, where you let people congratulate you to your success. And nearly the same is happening here. So okay, if I achieve this relationship, I'm now happily partnered to this person, I now healed myself, I'm now driving this dream car, I'm now having the successful business. And if my friend asks me, "Hey, what is new in your life?" Or I tell him, "Hey, you know what? I actually finally achieved that desire," then of course this friend would be happy. And we can imagine that, right? We can hear his words to confirm that we are in this state. So to imply to us that we have achieved it, right? So knowing the voice of your friend, because we all know, if we speak to a person long enough, we all know how this person sounds. We know their patterns in their voice, what they say, their wording, how they pronounce certain things. And we can tune them in. We can start to listen to that friend saying us something that we want. Right? I can right now imagine that my friend is saying this, that my dad is saying this, that my mom is saying this, that my girlfriend is saying this. I can imagine them saying whatever I want them to say, because that's the power of my imagination, right? And then what we want to do is we want to determine the words that we want him to say. But what we are after is not that we then actually encounter out there that they actually say those specific things to us, right? That's not what you actually want. You don't want actually your friend to say, "Oh, that's a great car. No, what it's all about is the implication, of course. So if you have achieved the car, what would your best friend say to you? He would maybe say, oh, damn, like how much horsepower does this thing have? Something along those lines, or whatever it might be, right? And then you listen to that, and you listen again. Remember, Neville always said, listen until you hear it. Listen until you hear it. I also have a video on this. I will link this above right now. It's a little bit older, but still very true and powerful, since those teachings are evergreen. And you listen internally again, and you listen internally again, and then what you listen to, what that implies to you, will happen. So again, let's just say you desire that car, and you know that your friend would tell you how much, how much horsepower does it have, right? To imply that it is already in your life right now. And then you have the words that you want him to say, and you listen carefully. You tune him in. You imagine that he actually is saying those exact words to you in his voice, in his tonality, in his speaking patterns, and you listen until you actually believe you heard him. Because I can guarantee you, the more you internally listen to this friend, the more real it will seem. The more you will actually think like, wow, like he actually said this to me. It actually happened, right? You will think that it really happened. And if you remain loyal to that and return back to this imaginal act, once you should doubt again, it will come to pass. I manifested unnumbered things by utilizing that exact approach. By hearing congratulations, by hearing my best friend, giving a little comment, giving a little question, giving a little congratulation on something that I've achieved, that I told him. And I sometimes I even saw his facial expression imaginatively, and sometimes I listened to what he said. And that implied to me the wish fulfilled. So the friend's voice is a good imaginal anchor to shift yourself in the end state. And then, of course, the devil is also giving us here a little reminder that when this scene will play out, or, sorry, better explained, when the manifestation will play out. Because again, we utilize that friend's voice to imply that we have achieved a certain thing. We don't want to, I don't actually need to hear my friend say, wow, how much horsepower does it have? We are after the implication that I have achieved the car, and that will then manifest. I don't need him to say the exact words again. So if I imagine that my friend is, oh, how much horsepower does it have? It's not that I actually want him to say that externally, but I know that when I imaginatively listen to that this implies that I have achieved my dream car. Right? And then I have my dream car, and then maybe he even says those exact words, which happens in, I would say, 89% of cases. It almost always happens that he will then also outwardly say those exact words that I imagined. But if he wouldn't, that would be also totally fine, because I got the implication of that scene. So that scene is a very potent implication to shift in an end state. And again, when it will manifest, no one can say. For every imaginal act has its own appointed hour. Or we can summarize that whole paragraph, that every imaginal act has its own appointed hour. And I know there are people that say, oh, but I imagined for 6 months and nothing is happening. Okay, but what are you imagining right now? You can imagine for 6 months, and then you can go back into doubt mode, and then you say, oh, it doesn't work. I imagined so long, but it's not happening. But in that moment, you are dwelling in the state that it is not here yet, that it hasn't happened yet, right? Some things take 2 years. Some things take 3 years. Some things take maybe even longer. Some things take 2 days. Something takes 1 week, 1 month. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You can already and always go back in that wish fulfilled, which is always available within you, within your imagination. Close your eyes. Every wish fulfilled that you want is right now available in your inner world, every state. So don't wait. And don't complain and say, oh, I imagined for so long, now it's not happening. What Neville said in that case is, okay, but then what are you imagining in that moment? You're imagining that it is not there, that it's not happening, that it's not working. Cut, pause, back, internal, radical re-internal alignment in the state of the wish fulfilled. I have a video on if you're impatient, if you have doubts, if you have worries, if you don't know what to do, then check out this video. This can help you to realign yourself back with the wish fulfilled state. But again, we can't say how long it takes, right? A bird can take 3 weeks, a sheep 5 months, a horse 12 months. I didn't even knew that. To some point, one of the members of my program, she is really good with horses, and from there I know that it's like a year that a horse takes, but that's crazy. A human takes 9 months, right? So don't depend on that. It will show up. What you do within needs to be externalized, needs to be pushed out, needs to be mirrored back to you. But if you're constantly doubting and looking, where is it, then you're not really planting the seed the right way. So what I would do right now if I were you, I would ask myself, what do I want? What's my desire at this moment? Right? What if I could wake up tomorrow the way I want to be? Which life would I like to wake up to? What do I want? What's my desire? What do I really want right now out of life? And then you come up with 1, 2, 3 things. Doesn't matter. So then you take one of those things and you say, okay, if I have achieved this and I meet my best friend again, can be another person. But let's take the friend. I meet my best friend right now. What would he say to me? Would he be happy for me? Of course. Would he be excited? Probably yes. Would he express his happiness for me? Yes. Would he say congratulations, or would he say something nice to me? Yes. So what would your friend say to you if you achieved your goal and you told him that right now? What would he say? And then that can be just a sentence, just a word, just nice or really cool. That can be it. It can be just one sentence that you use to manifest a desire. It can be just, wow, like, how have you done this? Or wow, like, how is it to live there? Or wow, like, how much did it cost? Or it doesn't matter. But what would imply to you that if this one friend is saying that to you, that you have achieved your goal? And then that's a scene, that's a concrete imaginal act. And then you can start to listening to that internally. While you drive to work, while you drive to your office, while you sit on your couch, while you lay on your bed, while you cook dinner, it doesn't matter. You can always reimagine hearing that voice, hearing that friend saying that to you, to imply that you have achieved it again and again and again. And if you do that carefully, if you do that until the point that when you go then again into the scene and you're like, wait a second, he actually already said this to me, why would I imagine this again? You're already really convinced that it actually happened, then that's a good indication, right? Listen imaginatively until you hear it, then in the manifestation. Listen until you hear it. Listen until you hear it. I can't stress this enough. So I really want you to make this practical, and when this video is done right now, get clear on the desire. And what would your best friend say to you if you tell him about it? And then it would be just a little laughter, a fun comment, a little, little funny thing, or like a real deep appreciation, a congratulation. What would he say? Tune in, bring him in front of your mind's eye, and just listen to his words and devote yourself to his voice. And that implies everything. That implies to you that you have achieved the goal. And that is a subtle anchor to maneuver yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled. So that's my advice. That's how you can utilize a friend's voice. I hope that this was clear. Let me know in the comments down below if you like utilizing those hearing imaginal acts and how this is working for you. And if you want to share successes, then also please post them in the comments as an inspiration for others. And if you need more help, then just check out the 2 links in the video description. One is my free masterclass and at the same time my email newsletter. And the second one is my program if you want to work with me directly on utilizing, internalizing, and mastering those principles for your life to manifest your desires. And that's it. Speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.